Welcome to A Day for Adventure, the premier outdoor podcast that'll get you off your butt and outside. I'm Trevor.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Will.
And for this episode, we'll be talking about how to maintain friendships and keep your adventure buddies on the trail. The biggest thing that comes with just dealing with people, especially people in your group, is just the interpersonal challenges. So basically what that means is within your group, you're going to have people that disagree, and there's just going to be problems that happen on the trail on whatever trip you are. And I think the biggest thing to remember is just that these disagreements or problems are pretty normal. I think every trip I've been on, something has gone wrong, whether it's been big or small. It's just because not everything's going to go perfectly.
So it's important to understand that humans are very social creatures and we are very complicated social creatures. That being said, it's very difficult to understand the cause of a disagreement. It's very difficult to understand what will set people off. You know, you really can never know because everybody has such different ones. Some people, in fact, everybody has their own pet peeves and other kinds of things that just will exacerbate those pet peeves. So a couple of common causes that, just naturally will cause some issues just in general are going to be just being so close together for extended periods of time is going to cause more social problems in general. So you're going to have to account for that. Personality clashes are very common. Not everybody is a perfect fit for each other under extreme circumstances. Miscommunication is actually a really big one that causes some problems. You wouldn't expect it to, but it does. If you don't hear exactly what somebody says, you might do something different, and then there's going to be a big issue with that. Big one that I think generally causes a lot of the short-term issues are going to be your more physical issues. So that's going to be like your crappy weather, broken gear, hiking related pains that you might experience. Maybe the food is not going to be that great. Maybe there isn't enough ice to keep the cold ones fresh for the boys. Sometimes you might have somebody like William who has hanger issues, or you might even have the misfortune of being around somebody like me who has an absolute lack of skill with a canoe paddle, and you're having to canoe 75 miles with somebody who has about the same canoeing aptitude as a small goat.
Now think of those two previous issues and then combine them.
Yeah. Don't expect that to go well. That was
that last day.
That last day, we just about were at each other's throats.
Yeah. So I'm not inviting you to my paddling the Little Platte trip, am I?
We've gotten better.
Figured it out. I think I figured it out by the end of the trip, but I think William was about at the edge of his hanger. I don't think he'd had enough. I don't think he'd had enough protein or something for breakfast. I don't know.
It also didn't help that my hand was. I burned my hand.
Oh
the
yeah,
night before.
That's right. You burned your hand the night before too.
So the paddle was aggravating the burn.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of causes for disagreements, and sometimes they are going to be very difficult to gauge what will cause an issue. So you have to understand how to tread carefully.
Yeah, and the biggest way to do that is just to practice a few common sense ideas with your conflict resolution. The biggest one is just ensuring some of the basic needs are met before trying to solve a problem. For example, if you're me, you want to get a snack so you're not hangry all the time. Maybe the weather's pretty bad, so you need to make a shelter and dry off first. When you start to engage, you'll want to focus on finding a solution, not winning an argument. It's very easy, especially when you're outside and with people for a long period of time, to try to win the argument. Don't do this. Instead, just go and treat this like a problem solving instead of a conflict resolution. And then if things are really bad, take some time to cool off first. You're usually outside for a long period of time. you have enough free time just to take 5 and then rethink and reapproach. And if that doesn't work, especially if it's a larger problem, you may want to get a friend to mediate the session and have someone who is not that partial. No matter what you're doing, though, the goal is simple of finding a solution and making sure we can move forward, because this isn't a end of the line, nothing will be happy again. It's just a quick bump in the road that is, again, as Trevor said, really normal for our adventures.
Yeah, definitely it's important to focus on understanding that there's no point in winning an argument, because an argument is pretty much irrelevant. You kind of have to start taking that mindset when you're out in the backcountry. You have to just kind of get stuff done, and an argument over how to do something is not getting that thing done. William does make a big comment about the mediator. If you have the access to somebody who is completely impartial, definitely take that opportunity. If you are a mediator, that being said, just understand that you need to, as a mediator, you need to be focused on the process of getting something done. So your objective is conflict resolution, not conflict expansion. Understand that. That's the big part about the mediating position. I've learned that the hard way a few times. So that's actually one of my biggest pet peeves, is the mediation thing. So that's always fun. So yeah, definitely if you're a mediator, try and mediate to resolve the situation, to come to a quick conclusion that will satisfy both parties if possible.
Yeah, the biggest thing as a mediator is just don't choose a side. Come to a resolution between both sides that make them happy, or at least happy enough that you get going on what needs to get done as well.
So William earlier mentioned the idea of taking a little bit of a break from other people. I think that's actually a really good idea. In fact, it's actually something I would highly recommend for pretty much every group, which was something we never really got to do in Boy Scouts. But on a longer trip or a very difficult trip, you are definitely going to want to have a little bit of time to spend away from your adventuring buddies. This is not only okay, this is actually a pretty normal thing, and is something that is implemented into a lot of the Boy Scouts high adventure programs. The idea of self-reflection and all of that. It's not really a thing where it's like supposed to be like, oh, take some time to take everything in. It's a get yourself away from everybody else for 5 or 10 minutes kind of a thing. So if it's possible or practical, I would definitely recommend that you branch away from everybody else, maybe for 10 minutes, maybe for 30 minutes, maybe for an hour, every single day, actually, to give yourself some room to breathe. Now, some good ideas for this, of course, are maybe you should find a quiet place to hang out for like an hour or something like that. Maybe you can climb up or maybe go to the edge of your campsite, or maybe go on a small walk, even though you just walked all day or something like that. I don't know. Okay. Take some time to branch away from everybody you're on the trip with, because it's not all about the group stuff. It's about improving yourself. So you want to take a little bit of that time to branch away. Now, of course, going off and becoming impossible to find for 6 or 7 hours, that's not okay. Because that's, again, that means that could be that's a issue that kind of shows another problem. But branching away for a little while, I think, is a very important thing, and it's a very natural thing to do.
I'd like to mention that at the end of these trips, it's definitely a regular thing to branch away and not talk to each other a few weeks afterwards. I remember with Philmont, we would, it'd be a few weeks and then we'd come back together to talk. Or same thing with Ben and I with the canoe trip. Once we got home, we took some time away. That's perfectly normal. After spending every day with the same person in a small space, you'll want a little bit of a break.
Yeah, definitely give yourself a little bit of a break in those situations. Yeah, I don't know. Trevor, you got any input on that?
I mean, if you just look at the general Boy Scout layout of events and stuff, at a minimum, you have a 1 week break from just seeing everyone. Maybe you sometimes go to school with the people, but within the scouting program, meetings are only every week and outings are only once a month. And my troop used to always take the meeting directly after summer camp. So right after our week-long camp, we'd also have that off. So we'd get a week and a half-ish, just because our meetings were on Wednesdays, of a break before our next meeting after our longest trip.
That is pretty smart, not gonna lie. Yeah, so the importance of taking breaks, I think, it's something that a lot of people overlook, but it's something that I think is very important to providing the best possible experience for all your trips and all that kind of stuff.
Also, you just kind of want to remember why you wanted to do this, I guess. When problems happen, just remember that while things are difficult, it's great to keep a positive attitude and just understand why you're even out in the woods or wherever you went. Just remember why you did that. And it's just because you wanted to have fun and have fun with your friends. Like when I went to Philmont the first time, we had one kid in our group who was super slow. Nothing against him, his just walking speed was really slow. So it took us forever to get places. But I mean, I still look back on that trip so fondly because even though it took forever to get everywhere, I wanted to be at Philmont just for the hiking because there's not much else to do there. So I was still doing what I wanted. It might have been harder than if I went with a different crew or something, but I still got to do what I wanted to do there. So after talking about dealing with people inside of your group, there's also dealing with people outside of your group. And the biggest thing in that is trail etiquette. Trail etiquette, if you really want to sum it down to a one-line thing, it's don't be a dick. And if you need a more PG version, just be nice. If you're walking by someone on the trail, just say hi or good morning or good afternoon, whatever it is. Ask permission before you walk through someone else's campsite. Just simple things like that. And then while you're on the trail and you're hiking or even biking or riding horses, whatever, there's a right-of-way system. So when there's a hiker and a biker coming towards each other on the trail, the hiker has right-of-way. And then when there's a hiker versus a horse, the horse has a right-of-way because horses can get easily spooked. And if you spook a horse, it might kick you off it. I almost watched that happen one time. And then when two groups of hikers meet up, if there's a smaller group or even a solo hiker versus a bigger group, the bigger group has the right of way because it's much easier for a single person or 2 or 3 people to move off to the side than it is to get a large group of even 10 or so off to the side. And then lastly is just uphill versus downhill. So anybody who's going uphill has the right of way because they're doing the harder workout. It's much easier to go down a hill or downstairs or something than going up them. And another big thing to remember about right of way is sometimes people either won't know the rules or it might just be easier for, say, for the uphill versus downhill, the person going uphill, it might be easier for them to move out of the way. Because just last week, I was going up the mound, is what it's called, in Platteville. It's a big M. And there was a little balcony area while I was going up, and there's people coming down. So me and my friend just stepped to the side because we had that balcony area as where they didn't have anywhere to step off to the side for. And then lastly is just leave no trace. If you don't know what that is, that's just outdoor ethics. It's basic things like don't throw your trash on the ground, watch your fires, and be respectful of outdoors and use trails. So same way as being nice to other people, be nice to the area you're in and to the outdoors. That was a pretty quick overview of L&T, but we might do another video on that one going real in depth.
Yeah, maybe. The biggest thing to learn and to keep in mind with all of this, from the trail etiquette to the conflict resolution, is that it'll take time to learn and you'll struggle with it. And just like the actual camp, the struggles you'll face while adventuring, that's normal. You just have to keep one foot in front of the other and just keep going, as it does get easier over time. Now, thanks for listening. Next time, we'll be talking about how to plan for a weekend camping trip. For now, this has been A Day for Adventure. Get off your butt, get outside, and have a fantastic time.